Hey everyone, it's Tuesday, July 17th, 2018, and it's time to go to work on music. It's been a great day, I'm in a really good place, and excited for a productive session as usual. Fewer commitments today, so gonna hit the music session pretty hard, got about 3 hours in front of me, and going to work on the Full Circle remaster. I've realized that my commitments on that project are a lot bigger than I thought they would originally be, because I think the capacity for that project is a lot bigger than I originally thought it would be, and I realize it'll be an excellent challenge for me to go in and do some extra work on those tunes on the back end, which will just be a fun project. And I really want it to be incredible. I want it to be a listening experience that's totally engaging, like a sonic film, you know? Like every moment is valuable, beautiful, it's all there for a reason, and it really takes you to a place that you've never been before, you know? And I know that that's possible, and right now I just can't help but feel listening to the tunes like they sound way better than when I started working on them. But I just don't know if they're as engaging as I want them to be, you know? I want it to be like the type of thing you can't turn off, you know what I mean? And that's setting the bar ridiculously high, and I think that's how I'm going to get the best out of myself, because I heard a quote recently which is, that which you do not hate, you will tolerate. It's a Malcolm X quote. And, of course, I'm appropriating that from an extremely passionate and important situation, but I think the wisdom still holds true, even in my very different circumstances. And I'm starting to realize that, like, this may not be true all the time, but a lot of times, like, the minimum bar of expectations we set for ourselves is going to be the height that we reach, because that's our minimum satisfaction. And our brains, our bodies, everything about us physically is wired for ease. It's wired to prioritize making things easy. And I recently realized, like, I don't think I should try to make things easier for myself. I think I should just try to make them better. And I think that's a big distinction, you know? Things that are harder aren't always worse than the easy way, if that makes sense. So that's where I'm at today. I know it's like some deep stuff, but I'm getting to a place where the urgency and the necessity of these projects is getting bigger and bigger and bigger for me internally. And I realize that if I really want this to happen, then there are certain things that I can do mentally, as far as my beliefs go, that can take me physically where I want to go eventually. So that's where I'm at. With that in mind, going to also hit some drum practice, keep that relatively light, and then going to take the next steps on the new Aeons tune and possibly knock out the new Hazardous Lean track, which is going to be pretty simple this week, but I'm excited for that actually. It'll give me a chance to experiment with some textures, synthesizers, and just moods and atmospheres that I wouldn't normally play around with. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let me know if you have any thoughts or questions as we go through the session, and I'll update you at the end with what I accomplish. Here we go. Phenomenally great session today. Just got into the online class front and started hitting the master classes that I want to take again. And I got into the Annie Leibovitz class, and it's really nice to be done with the home mastering master class and have a little more bandwidth on the online class front. I should probably sit down and prioritize exactly what I should be focusing on, but because my new camera's coming, I figured photography would be the way to go. From there, and the main takeaway there was just having some reference photos for your photo shoot or whatever your concept is before you actually go to the shoot, when you're designing the idea and the scenery and stuff like that. And that, of course, has parallels in the musical spectrum, I think. And I've heard of a lot of producers going into the studio with some reference tracks to try to get sounds of like, hey, we're going for this here, we're going for this here, so that you get that sound of exactly how the record's supposed to sound from the very beginning of your tracking, which I just think is just incredibly valuable. And I've been talking to my partner recently, who's a visual artist, and she has been talking about how she's taking a series of classes about imitating people you like, and like how when you do it your own way, your own version of something, it's really something truly new, but you can draw from their inspiration and kind of internalize what made that thing so great. And I think that pattern of imitating and innovating, and you know, it's a beautiful thing, and I think it's important, and I think it's a fine line and a gradient, you know what I mean? So yeah, so I'm definitely going to seek out some photos that I really like and start to shape my own photographic and image style so that I can shape the Eons brand and the feeling of the whole thing. So yeah, that was great. From there, I got a quick drum practice in, and again, I've been using a lot of the ideas that I got from the book, The Inner Game of Tennis, of just like letting go of a certain part of my mind and allowing another part of my mind to take over when I'm playing, and especially when I'm practicing and working on things, and I'm just experimenting with a much more organic approach instead of what's traditionally been my drum practice, which is very rigid and very focused on like specific exercises and specific goals, and just allowing myself to kind of play and just confront the little potholes in the road and just smooth them out over time. So yeah, it's a little more expressive and it's a lot of fun. From there, I got into working on the Into Infinity Master from the Full Circle EP, and that's going really well. I was A-Bing it with an Arcane Roots record called Melancholia Hymns that I really like, and I just realized their stereo image is a lot more broad than what I was using, and they had a lot more high-frequency spaces filled up in the stereo field, and it just had this really epic and expansive sound, and I realized, like, oh, right, that's what I've been going for, and so I kind of went back and started tweaking things, and just got the stereo spread just much, much better, and it just opened up all the parts. It's so much easier to hear what's going on in the frequency spectrum when it's not all just sitting right on top of itself, which there was just so much stuff in the middle of the stereo field. I'm not sure what happened with that. Maybe I'm working with the wrong mix files or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I'm definitely going to experiment with the imager. And so far the Ozone imager and EQs and stuff have been really, really valuable for that, especially the imager. I like it a lot. Strongly recommend it. From there, I spent about an hour on that and was feeling really good, and then realized that I was only listening to the mid instead of the sides. It sounded so good, and I was so stoked, and then I was like, crap. So then I had to rebalance everything, but I spent maybe 15 minutes, so it's probably going to need a little more work, but it's still sounding really good the way it is now, and, you know, that was just a really interesting blunder that I made, but it's a good lesson. And then I just got into working on the new Hazardous Lean track. I'm going to do something more spectral and spacious, so I was just poking around for some synth sounds that I liked. Found one that's pretty cool. I don't know if I'm going to go with it, but I don't know, it's fun exploring. And then I just worked on the new Aeons tune and realized that it was probably a good time to just write some lyrics so I could get the message and the thrust of the song down before I start tracking drums and writing other parts and stuff. So I've got like kind of the skeleton of the different sections, and I was just jotting some ideas down and thinking, like, you know, what's the story I want to tell right now, what's on my mind and my heart recently, what's the truth, you know, and just taking myself to that writing zone and just not overthinking it, if that makes sense. Just kind of brainstorming, filling up the page. So yeah, it's a great session. I just felt amazing after working on that Into Infinity Master, just being in the zone, like so deep in the zone for such a long time. It's been a while, and yeah, feels great. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys are out there grinding towards your goals, enjoying the process. That's what I'm out here doing, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for more. Can't wait.